Hello and welcome to my development diary number 8 for Mongoose Traveller for Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I'm Samuel Penn, also known as Not a Snark on some forums on the interwebs. And I'm going to be going over some of the changes that have been made, mostly in March, for the latest releases of my Foundry system. So most of the work's being done on fixing technical debt, so hopefully most of the changes are invisible to users. I think I fixed all the bugs that were caused, so it should all be working much the same as before. It's just that the backend code is now a bit cleaner and more flexible. So as is previous, in previous dev diaries, I've been sort of going through how I've been adding ways to make skill checks from within a journal. So adding in macros, so you can put in a skill. Let's bring that up. Let's roll, and it'll tell us, yep, you've gotten why the skill was made, and it will also output messages on success or failure. So let's try and guarantee a success. Yep, okay, so you can output different messages depending whether the skill was succeeded or not, if you wish to. But a modification that's been made is you can now actually request a skill check from players. So the purpose of this is to allow adventures which have been ported into Foundry to sort of embed the skill checks into the adventure text. But it's normally the GM that's reading those, not the players. So the GM wants a way to be able to say, okay, ask players, make a skill check. So what the players can then do, we take up a player character, either they can select a character or they and click that. There we go. That they make the check, or they can drag it onto their character sheet. And again, it's showing up the reason for the check there, giving the difficulty. They can still make a change to stat used. Oh, and it's now possible to make skill checks without a characteristic if you want to. So yeah, you can make that skill check, and it will tell you whether you succeed or fail. The macro is much the same as before. You can put in success and failure messages. You don't have to do that if you want to keep the reason for the what happens secret or not, but it's there as an option. Another option we've also got, which just started working on, is create item macro. So let's get rid of that. Let's select a character. Oh, they've already got a new item, but yeah, if we create item, that character will automatically get an item created. And ultimately, I want to be able to put in options in there and allow you to do things like create contacts or allies, which is the sort of thing that would be useful during character generation. So, for example, let's take a look at that. Character generation. So let's say we've got the tables here. What I want to be able to do is to be able to just make it possible so players can just click on these to add skills and make skill checks. And when you sort of have things like this, you can just sort of click on something to say, yep, add me a contact, add me an enemy, with maybe some description to say where it came from, and that will get added to the player's character sheet, basically. So just trying to, I don't want to completely automate this. I want it to be to feel still like a role-playing game rather than a computer game. But streamlining some of the bits of just the sort of data entry and bookkeeping, that's the sort of thing that I want to be able to do. And yes, and as you can see here, I am working on getting the Traveller starter pack installed and set up within Foundry. I don't know how long that's going to take, but it's something I'm working on. And yeah, as you can see, we've got some adventures as well, but possibly more on that later as I get time to work on it. Some other things I've been doing, so I mentioned NPCs can now be sort of put into a journal. That's now possible with creatures as well. So you can import creatures into a journal entry. You can click on that and it will open up the character sheet if you want to do that. So yeah, again, this is all makes getting official content into the system a lot easier. And we have a look. Yeah, we've got items, weapons. Yep, as I say, all currently being worked on. So content is coming at some point in the future, hopefully later this year. So other things that have been something to mention, and so these creatures, there seem to be two different styles within Mongoose for displaying creatures. There's a sort of pure black and white one, and there's this sort of orange and dark grey one, which matches the actors. I'm not sure which is the most recent. I've gone for the orange and grey because I think it looks nicer. Just a black, plain black and white table looked a bit bare within the journal, so I've kept things consistent with that. I don't know whether people have thoughts over which one they prefer, but I've gone for this one. I suppose it would be possible to be able to have both options in there, but for now it's orange and black. Well, orange and grey. Another thing that's been worked on. So I've tidied up some of the skill editing. So if you want to edit a skill, you can click edit there, and I've sort of made it a bit cleaner. You can delete skills. You can mark things as individual skills. So these are things like the profession skill. So where is the profession skill? Where having a 0 in the parent doesn't make you trained in any of the specialities. And though it's been possible for a while, I'll just go back to so we have a character package here. So this for a character package, when you delete a skill, if we click on that, edit, you get an option to delete it and undelete it. If you delete it, it just crosses it out and it marks it as when you copy that skill onto a character, it will delete that skill from the character, and then you can set up another set of skills if you want to. So I've got the split sciences here from the companion. So if we have a new character, what you can do, drag that in, and it's deleted science, and it's added in these extra skills, and it will say this in the chat as well to say what it's gone and done. So if you want different set of skills, say different set of languages or things like that, then you can do that by the recommended way is to do that via packages. It should also be possible to do it via a module, so which will change the default for all characters. But yeah, you'll need some development skills to do that and messing around with how the system sets up the skills initially. So other things, simplifying. So if we go to hardware, so we have some damaged M drives here, multiple different M drives. But if we click on this, you may notice there's no longer the options here for setting tonnage and things. We do a generic, we can't, so it used to be the case. I'm just trying to find let's create an item, general item, spacecraft hardware, generic. Okay, so it used to be the case you had to set tons and percentage and things, and people got confused about how this works, which isn't too surprising. Initially, I was trying to keep away from hard coding in very specific rules, but now I feel that was possibly the wrong choice. I'm now sort of hard coding in some things. So for M drives, J drives, you don't need to worry about all of that. So you can select jump, it will change the tech level, it will change the tonnage, it will work out what it should be. If you change that as well, it will also modify the tech level, and it will modify the tonnage. So you can just select the value, the rating you want, and everything should be set up correctly. Now, it will currently limit the tech level to the tech level of the ship. So if we set the tech level of the ship to that, we'll need to reopen that. Yeah, so it will correctly, it should correctly apply the rules for that. I know it actually gets it a bit wrong. If you put in the high technology, it will go over the limit, but that's something I can fix later. But yeah, so hopefully jump drives, M drives and R drives should now be a lot easier to use, and they should all be nicely hard coded in there. And that's the bulk of the new changes that have been made and released. So if there's any issues or bugs you find, please let me know. I do try and check the issues list on GitHub occasionally. Maybe not as regularly as I could, but I do check it and go through it and try and fix things where people raise issues. So that's what's been released. In terms of what's being worked on right now, so one of the other things I haven't had is support for worlds. So if we create a new character, we can now, so this is unreleased in the development branch, so it isn't available yet, but we could create a world. And this is all very basic. You can give it a name, you can give it a sector and XY coordinates. Doesn't do much with that at the moment, but you can come down here, click generate, and it will automatically use the world creation rules from the Mongoose starter pack to generate a world. And you can sort of re-roll that. It will show you the UWP. It will show you the trade codes. I do want this to be editable, and I need to make bases editable, but currently that's not done. You can have a map for the world as well. I need to have a place to put a description, but that's not there yet. There's a big question over how much detail I add for that. I mean, out of the box, Traveller is one world per star system, So do I want to be able to link lots of worlds together into, so there you have multiple worlds within one star system? Not too sure yet. I probably need to add support for that at some point. But yeah, currently it assumes one world, one star system. I might add in support for the factions from the core rulebook. But for now, stellar information and stuff, if you want all that, you'll need to go out to Traveller Map for that. Of course, you could always use my Traveller Map plugin. So if you haven't seen that, then that will go off to Traveller Map and show all the available information on worlds. I may add in linkage from there, so you can just sort of go get something from Traveller Map using that module, and then sort of click a create me a world, and it will create you a world. Now notice there's a freight option there. So if you want to do speculative trade, click that, and it will generate what trades available at that world, again using the Mongoose Traveller trade rules. The idea is you'll just be able to take these, drag them into your spaceship. It will work out costs and things. So there's a way to add broker skills and streetwise skills. I need to improve this. This is all just very much in alpha at the moment. It'd also be good to be able to do speculative trade. So let's do that. I'll take another world I've created earlier, drag that in, and oh, look, it's creating freight for things going to the world of alpha. And if you redo that, it should redo it. Has that gone on? Okay, I think it's if you redo speculative, it will delete what's there before and re-add things in. Technically, it should be doing the same for speculative, but it seems not to be doing that at the moment. So something I need to fix. But yeah, you can have Delta. Why are you not? Delta. Okay, so there we go. I'm not sure what was happening there, but yeah, you can have cargo for different worlds. I need to sort out mail. I need to sort out passengers and things, and allow you to find sort of illegal goods. But yeah, all of this, hopefully working soon. But yeah, mostly it's around world data and world generation. I have had a look into how we might do sector maps. I mean, you can set up a hex grid. You can just drag worlds down onto here. It doesn't show the hex coordinates. Yeah, I'm not sure how to get around that. There are some modules for adding in coordinates onto a map grid. Apparently that doesn't work on Foundry 12 at the moment. The module I was looking at doesn't have support for hex grids on Foundry 12, so might have to wait a while for that to be fixed. But yeah, it'd be good to be able to have sector maps in here, or it might just be reinventing the wheel because it's all in Traveller. Unless you're creating your own systems, you're creating your own sectors, you might want to be able to create your own map here, in which case there would be a definite use for doing that, and then you could sort of show on the map where your player's starship is and things like that. But yeah, all that's being worked on. If people have any thoughts about what they'd like to see actually within Foundry rather than sort of external to Foundry, then I'd be interested in hearing that, because at the moment I'm not quite sure what the best way forward would be to handle things like that. There's lots of options, lots of things that can be done, but I don't want to be, spending a lot of time working, getting something working which people don't actually want. So yeah, so that's for the future. Exactly when that will be ready, I don't know. I mean, as you can see, the basics are working, so I might put it in sometime soon and just let people play around with it. Uh, but yeah, um, that's about it for now. Okay. If you got any questions or anything, feel free to stick them in the chat below. But other than that, thank you very much for listening.